What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Mean Streets here on our FTN YouTube page. I am Chris Meaney. You can follow me at Chris Meaney. You can reach out Mean Streets FTN at gmail.com. Thursday night football tonight. You're listening on iTunes and Spotify. We also greatly appreciate you guys. Rate, review, subscribe, smash the like button if you like these picks. Also, if there's something else you'd like to see, hit me up. Pretty flexible. Have any starter sit questions, you can leave them there in the comments section. I'll circle back before kickoff tonight. It is Giants and the Cowboys, New York at home. 5.5-point favorites for Dallas. The total at 45 and a half in some spots. Pretty surprising win last week. Not going to lie. Was shocked that the Giants just straight out beat Cleveland, and the Browns offense has been trash, and the defense has been playing all that good, but still very surprised with how that turned out. Malik Neighbors is an absolute baller, setting NFL records in terms of catches and yards, touchdowns, the first 3 games, NFL history, breaking all kinds of records there for Malik Neighbors. Very healthy target share, leads the NFL in targets. I think he's second in catches. He has been fantastic. Maybe the other way around. He's 1 or 2 in targets and catches. He's been awesome. The target share has been his way. So it's been nice to see. If you're a Giants fan, you like seeing that. I'm not picking this game. Like, I'm not betting on this game on my own pool. I am going to pick Dallas 5.5. And I know that they're going through something. I feel like the Cowboys are frauds. I've always kind of felt that way, like in the big games and certainly playoff scenarios. I'm not a big fan of McCarthy. The defense, I think, is slightly overrated. There's something going on in the locker room right now. You heard Dak after the loss last week kind of calling out his teammates and wide receivers and talking about when teams have certain coverages against them, wide receivers are not adjusting. Micah Parsons calling out some of the defensive players as well, and both of those guys taking blame. So there seems to be some sort of disconnect. They can't stop the run, and they can't run the football. But like I said, I think last week when Miami faced Buffalo, I was like, listen, Josh Allen owns the Dolphins. I'm just going to follow this trend. And there's been a lot of upsets. The biggest favorite every week has just straight up lost. It's been crazy in the NFL through 3 weeks. But Dak Prescott is 12-2 against the Giants. The last 2 games, 49-17 and 40-7. So his team has outscored the Giants 89-17 over the last 2 games. I think this game will be a little bit closer. I don't expect a blowout, but I am going to lean with Dallas covering. I have a slight lean to the under. I could see like a 24-17 type game. I think that the Cowboys win by a touchdown. And I got some props here for you. I feel a lot better about these props than I do straight up betting the game or the total. So I'm going to start here with the chalkiest pick of all is CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was quiet last week, put in 77.5 over at FTN in our Discord, I believe yesterday morning. So this number has moved a little bit. Again, prop shop, parlay calculator, 2 tools that are free over at ftnfantasy.com. Links inside the description of this video. Save you a lot of time and save you a lot of cash as well. So CeeDee only 67 yards last week. Baltimore did a good job of taking him away. And I think teams will be focusing on CeeDee, saying, go ahead, like, Turpin, Tolbert, like Cooks, you want to beat us that way, go for it, because, you got nothing on the ground. Can't run the football. But CeeDee, I just don't think the Giants have the personnel to do that here. Our wide receiver cornerback matchup tool shows that CeeDee has the best matchup possible this week. Andrew Phillips most likely on him. Last year, I don't want to take too much stock into last year. I brought it up a couple times now, but 228 receiving yards for CeeDee in the 2 games against the Giants, 151 in 1 game. So he's a big play guy, crossing routes, yak yards after the catch. So I'm taking CeeDee Lamb, and I think he scores a touchdown. Again, not breaking news here. Starting off with an obvious pick here in CeeDee Lamb over 79.5 receiving yards. A get right spot. We talked about Jamar Chase, right? On Monday night, we said a get right spot. We took the touchdown prop for him, and he had a big day. So from there, let's go to Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson returned last week. He had 11 targets, 6 grabs, and 95 yards. There's a lot of garbage time stuff from the Cowboys late in that game. It still happened. Dak Prescott leads the NFL in passing attempts. He may not have to chuck it all that much in this game, but it's still going to be a pass-first offense. Mike McCarthy can say that, there'll be a good running team all he wants, but nobody's buying that, right? He said at the start of the year, we're going to be a good running team because we're going to commit to the run. It's just the defense hasn't shown that, they can stop the run and lean on the ground game. I think we'll see a little bit more from Rico Dowdle this week. I'll talk about him in a second. But for Ferguson, he averaged 44 yards per game last season. He had 10.7 yards per catch. This year, small sample size, only 2 games, but 55 yards per game, 12.2 yards per catch. He's good with the ball in his hands, too. And he can kind of go down and get it. Like we've seen some throws from Dak over the past year or so. Really, it was the breakout campaign from Ferguson last year in the middle of the field. And yards after the catch is not bad. He's not like a tight end that just catches and falls, right? He's not more like a Pat Fryermuth. He's got a little bit of game for Jake Ferguson. So over 40.5 receiving yards. And he has topped this number in 6 of his last 8 games dating back to last season. So Jake Ferguson over 40.5 receiving yards, minus 110 at Bet365. Sticking with Dallas, Rico Dowdle. Zeke has shown us nothing, absolutely nothing. The last couple of weeks from Zeke, 6 for 16 and 3 for 6. And I get it. They've had to abandon the run, but Zeke doesn't have anything left. I'm kind of surprised we're not seeing Dalvin Cook activated or elevated here. Like, it's time to give him a look and see what he has to offer, because I'd say it's more than Zeke has to offer at this point. For Rico Dowdle, has been fantastic either. 8 for 26, 7 for 30, and 8 for 32. Again, down in most of those games, especially the last 2 games. I see him getting 10-plus carries and 40-plus rushing yards. 37.5. I'm seeing some books at 40.5. The best number I'm seeing at FanDuel is at minus 110 at FanDuel at 37.5 rushing yards. So I'm thinking that Dallas is going to have success scoring some points. And if they do get up, and if this is a trend that continues where Dak is owning the Giants, owning Daniel Jones, getting after him, creating turnovers, maybe we see him get to this number early if they decide that they are running and really leaning on Rico Dowdle, who deserves more touches, or late in the football game if they're up a score. Maybe they can actually lean on the ground game in this contest. So Rico Dowdle over 37.5 rushing yards. I have a lean to the over 9.5 rushing attempts as well, but just going to try to limit the picks with like 4 or 5 of my favorites. So that's on the Dallas side. I'm actually not going with Malik Neighbors. I think there's an edge in his receiving yards. I think it's roughly 70. We have him for like 74, 75. The 6.5 catches is a lot. Now, the target share is there. The air yard share, he owns like those metrics. He's been the alpha, and Daniel Jones has been going his way. But like, I want to see, I don't actually view Diggs as like an elite corner. I think he's kind of boom or bust, right? He jumps routes, and there's like some highs and lows with that. You know, some picks are there, but sometimes he guesses wrong and the touchdown goes to the house. So I would say, like, if you're getting involved with Malik Neighbors, it would be the receiving yards in case, like, you know, Diggs does jump, or, you know, a catch and run, something like that. I'll be interested to see moving forward on how defenses game plan for Malik Neighbors, right? It's kind of like we'll try to take him away, bracket him, maybe double him, certainly put our best corner on him, and then just, you know, prove it that you can throw the ball elsewhere. So I'm going with Rondell Robinson at over 4.5 catches, plus 125 at Bet365. You can tease him down. If I was, you know, a Bet365 user and I was doing some sort of same game parlay, you know, the odds wouldn't be great, but you can go CeeDee Lamb at 75 alternate. I would still take Ferguson at 40.5. You can move Rico down to 25 rushing yards if you wanted to, and you could tease Wan'Dale Robinson to 4 catches. But I like him for 5 here in this game, and he's been consistent in this offense over the past couple years. Like, his ceiling isn't high from a fantasy football perspective, but he's got a bit of a floor in PPR formats. 12 targets and 6 catches in week 1. He scored a touchdown in week 2. He had 7 grabs on 8 targets last week. He has 5+ catches in 7 of his past 9 games dating back to last season. And last season started okay for him as well. He had 5+ catches in each of his first 4 games before suffering some injuries. So if Dallas is focusing in on Malik Neighbors, he will be a handful to stop. It does leave some opportunities here for Wan'Dale Robinson. Short A-Dot, get the ball out quick there to Wan'Dale. Slay's not 100%. Slayton, rather, not showing us a whole lot. Singletary's been good on the ground. His number is kind of high at 60, and I know the Cowboys haven't stopped the run. He could certainly get there, Devin Singletary, but I'm shying away from Singletary, and I'm shying away from Malik Neighbors, and I'm diving in here to Wan'Dale Robinson over 4.5 Plus money usually scares you. The books are sharp. It's my least favorite of the 4 that I've given, but I'm in on Wan'Dale Robinson. The touchdowns, one is chalky. It's CeeDee Lamb minus 120. Tough to bet by itself. You could do some sort of CeeDee Lamb. I did this last week with Jamar Chase. I took Jamar Chase like 5 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. You do the same thing, I think, here with CeeDee Lamb, maybe 5 catches. If you want to go to 75 yards instead of 100 and then a touchdown, that may pay like 3-1 plus 350 or something like that. So I think CD scores a touchdown, right? It's not breaking any news. Jake Ferguson here, decent value. I think the best number I saw was at BetMGM at plus 240 for Jake Ferguson. Led all tight ends and targets last year. We took the over 4.5 touchdown prop for the season. He had 5 last year, and I thought he was a little bit unlucky in the red zone. Dak led the NFL in pass attempts, and also Tony Pollard was second in red zone rushing attempts. Dak was the pass attempts inside the red zone. Should they get inside the red zone at the 5, Zeke may score, right? That's what he can do for this offense. Maybe some short yardage stuff, but ultimately he's still a decent goal line back, right? So we saw that in week 1. He had a goal line opportunity, which he converted for a touchdown. It could happen, but I'm not going that route. Jake Ferguson plus 240 for the touchdown. And then my long shot pick would be Wan'Dale Robinson, right? Singletary, Malik Neighbors maybe used inside the red zone. I'd say another long shot could be Daniel Jones. You could see some sort of end around there if they have some success moving the football. I don't expect them to live inside the red zone here in this game, but divisional game, you just never know. Wan'Dale Robinson plus 425 for the touchdown. And like I said, he did get a touchdown in week 2. Important game for the Cowboys. It really is. I looked at their schedule here and, getting bounced, losing to Cleveland and the Saints, or beating Cleveland rather, but their offense wasn't great in that game. Losing to the Saints and losing to the Ravens put them in a 1-2 scenario here. They have at Pittsburgh week 5, home to Detroit week 6. They get the bye week 7, but out of that bye, they have the San Francisco 49ers on the road. And we know that this isn't a team that has had a lot of success against the 49ers, but they have had some success against the New York Giants. So just to recap here, we have CD over 79.5 receiving yards. If you're subbed with us, you got the over 77. We have Jake Ferguson over 40.5 receiving yards. We have Rico Dowdle over 37.5 rushing yards. A lean to the over 9.5 rushing attempts. I think we see Dallas use a little bit more Rico this week as opposed to Zeke. And then Wan'Dale Robinson at over 4.5 catches at plus 125. If you want to have Neighbors, and I get it, he's fun. You want to have some shares of Neighbors. Maybe it is just simply teasing him down a little bit to like 5 grabs, but I would lean with the receiving yards more so than the catches for some of the reasons that I mentioned. I think CD scores a touchdown. I think Jake Ferguson scores a touchdown, and my long shot touchdown is Wan'Dale Robinson. Man, we almost had Noah Brown. You just needed to lean back, right? Lean back. It's like the fat Joey who's caught the ball right there. I thought it was a touchdown. You couldn't be any closer. So let's see if we can get this long shot here with Wan'Dale Robinson. And it may just be like, hey, I'm not taking CD for 1. I'll take him for 2. We've seen some hat tricks already. We saw last week the 2 touchdowns there from Jamar Chase. Appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out. Good luck with all of your picks. We'll be back tomorrow. We have a live show tomorrow morning at on here, our FTN Fantasy YouTube page. So make sure you're subscribed to our page. You get notified when we go live. We're aiming to get the show out by 11. So keep her locked. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.